Y'all in for a good wake up call. Cause it's Douglas Hanson versus his own Julian Fischer. Julian Jody Fischer. Now, I always put this photo of me up of me being illegally arrested and illegally held in the Marion County jail for 22 odd days, I think. So I'm gonna turn my camera on in a minute. I'm just setting everything up. Y'all bear with me because this is gonna be one of them live streams where we just dive deep into the facts. And the facts is that Douglas Hanson did not have the authority to do the things that he did to me. So welcome. It's your boy. It's me, the one and only Matthew Mayfield Johnson Jr. I was down for 3 days, got my wisdom teeth pulled, so I was really, But now the fun must begin, and I'm here to state the facts on these people that you see in the background. Douglas Hanson, Gillian Fischer. Obviously, it's Veterans Day, so we can't be calling the Oregon State Bar to figure out where these people work at. So, what I do got. What I do get is my own information, what's called Cornell Notes. And just because I knew it was Veteran Day, I took my notes, right? I called the Oregon State Bar and then I wrote down my notes to make sure everything is right on these people, especially Douglas Hanson and Julian Fischer, two of the leading DAs for the Marion County DA's office. And another thing that I will be doing is Douglas Hanson versus Paige Clarkson. I don't have a picture of her, I don't think. Yeah, let me not lie to the public, right? Well, I do have a picture of Paige Clarkson. I've been trying to reach out to her, but obviously she wants to take Douglas Hanson word for it. So let's just see how much of a word Douglas Hanson word is good. Is it good or is it not good? I don't think so. Julian Fischer already admitted that Douglas Hanson didn't have the authority. So if you looked at all my live streams, they either at least an hour long. The reason for that is because there's so much evidence. There's so much information that I can go for basically years and years and years and decades for this. Julian Fischer, let's do her real quick. Julian Jody Fischer, Oregon State Bar number 112994. She used to work at the Oregon State Bar, right? I mean, she used to work for the Marion County District Attorney's Office. Now the thing is, when we talk about the Marion County DA's office and the rules in the Marion County DA's office, what a DA can and can't do, who holds the authority to reassign cases throughout the DA's office, not the courts, the DA's office. These is a level 1 district attorney, a level 2, and a level 3 district attorney. A level 3 district attorney has the position to reassign the case to a person like Julian Jody Fischer. It's something that Douglas Hanson took well advantage of, and we're going to get into that because I think it's critical for people to know the ins and out of how the DA's office really operate behind closed doors. And like I told my friend in messaging, is that, your vote matter, but your voice also matter after that vote. So yeah, you voted for Joe Biden and he won the election, but are we the people gonna hold him accountable and make him stick to his promises that he made to us? So there's a lot that could go on here. But when we diving into Douglas Hanson versus Julian Fischer, I called the Oregon State Bar and I asked for an update on Julian Jody Fischer. I don't know if y'all could see that, right? So, but these are my notes because obviously we can't call because not only they taking advantage of that part of that is Veterans Day, so everybody deserves a day off because it's a national holiday or whatever. But they also down in Marion County is taking they manipulating and taking, how can I say this? Oh, taking advantage of the COVID-19 crisis, the COVID situation. And what it's doing to me is violating a lot of people's rights. And when I get in front of the Washington Supreme Court, because I think that's where I'm headed. I have one more step to basically tell Douglas Hanson to produce what's called the federal habeas corpus. But Douglas Hanson was a level 3 district attorney, right? His job allowed him to reassign cases throughout the DA's office. Eventually, Douglas Hanson got Julian Fischer. Julian Fischer and Douglas Hanson were cool. They were cool people to each other. They did each other favors. You do this week, I got you next week type ordeal. They was just playing around until a person like me came about. A person like me came into their lifestyle, and then all of a sudden everything they moving jurisdictions, they moving out of the DA's office. Nobody is trying to hold these people accountable. So you'll see that everything that I've done is public. They arrested me for this. Julian Fischer laughed about it. She took me through probation violation hearings. She charged me with my own prescribed medication. These people are hateful. And it all starts with Douglas Hanson telling Julian Jody Fischer that I had hate for gays and homosexuals. And that is not the truth. I repeat, that is not the truth. I don't have a problem with that. Now, the problem that I do have with it is that if somebody of that opposite side know that I'm a married man and make a gesture towards me, I have every right to state my public opinion about it. And that's where it is. And to take people back into time, I had a Facebook, but my Facebook name wasn't Matthew Johnson. It was actually Cashman Johnson. Cashman Johnson was a alter ego. He was just this person. It was me for sure, but it was at a time where I was just trending with everybody else. I had the best word out there. I can't say it now, but I had the best. Every time I said something, it ended with that. Every time I said something, it started with that. And Douglas Hanson took it personal. He thought that since I said these two words, right? Since I said these two words, that I automatically had a bias towards gays. But that's not the truth, Doug. I'm sorry to bust your bubble, And the things that you did outside of charging me, you will be held accountable for that too. And one person that's going to panic that you got to pay close attention to is the people that work with Douglas Hanson. And one of those people was Julian Fischer. Now, Julian Fischer claimed that she was only on my case during the probation violation hearings. That is not true, because if you rewind back in time, my court audio transcripts, You will hear Gillian Fischer all through my court audio transcripts and not the prosecutor, Douglas Hanson. Not only that, you will hear the public defenders talking for Douglas Hanson. And I'm not here to just lie about what these people have done to me and what these people took me through. These people took me through some harsh things in my life. They took me through hell, if you ask me, and they gave me a sentence of registering as a sex offender for life. And one thing that I will do before I get into this is, and this is the whole reason why I'm on this, is because Douglas Hanson and had charged me as a basically a pedophile. There's no other way around it. There's no other way about calling somebody that's not a sex offender a sex offender. That's defamation of my character. That has put me in such a bondage that nobody wants to give me a chance. No job wants to hire me. No rent. I have to basically live house to house, to tell you the truth. I have to always be asking for a handout. You know, it behooves me to say it like this, but even my mom and them think that I done lost my mind because I just won't give up talking about Douglas Hanson and the Marion County DA's office. Well, won't they do something about it? Because I can assure you, when I was in this Zoom meeting with the Attorney General and Lou Frederick and all these constituents of each other, and I was taking notes because that's what I do. You don't, just because I'm not licensed to be what they think is a private investigator, don't mean that you cannot do an investigative job. That doesn't mean that you can't put together the amount of paperwork, the amount of evidence to prove where you at. So the thing is, if you was paying attention to one of the live streams that I did, Douglas Hanson versus my wife, when we put this together, and Douglas Hanson spends about an hour and 40 minutes, almost 2 hours, incriminating himself, telling on the Susan trip, telling about how he knew that my wife knew where I was and how she knew of my defense and how he knew that she had talked to me. But then you hear him in certain parts of this interview, in certain parts of this recording, try to cover. I want to make it real clear to you that I'm not trying to tell you to deliver a message to Matthew Johnson. If that's the case, then why would you tell the victim / witness that you subpoenaed to court? Because you don't have a case. No witness, no victim, no witnesses come. It just looks too bizarre if all the prosecutor need to take to a grand jury is officers. Every person in the world to be arrested if a grand jury only heard from 2 officers. That's like, come on, we want to hear from this child victim because you did file what's called a Blakely enhancement notice on me, Douglas Hanson. And not only that, Gillian Fischer went as far as to cover Douglas Hanson through the probation violation hearings with Stephanie Allen and Paul Lively. They all was working conspiring together, like they said. And this is not no conspiracy because we putting out the facts. Now, certain things that they did to me is disgusting by nature, right? But they have to pay for this because their paperwork supports it. Their paperwork humiliated me. I should in no way, shape, or form should have had to take a risk assessment, a sex offender risk assessment, because you're questioning me about my wife. And I have not lost my marital privilege, and there's no protective order. There's nothing that's binding me and my wife apart through the courts. So therefore, I don't have to answer none of your questions when it involves a marriage between me and my wife. And they keep on constantly trying to level me, not by the what I've done. It's just you leveling me by the charges. Not only the 2 charges that's illegal on me, but the 2 charges that I've served prison time on. The unlawful use of a firearm, that charge count, and the robbery too count. Those 2 charges is legitimately on my background for criminal felony. So when you run a criminal history, those 2 charges originally should come up. Douglas Hanson went and put 2 more felony charges. He charged me with an A felony, and then he tried to use Gillian Fischer, right, to revoke me and send me to prison on 70 months. He couldn't get the 160 months that he was trying to originally get. And then, and another thing I want to make clear here is that Douglas Hanson, I didn't even serve your full probation term. I didn't serve none of that. I stood up. I stood up and I fought. I became a legend. Like my boy Kobe. I'm becoming a legend. Right? So the one thing that I want to do is we play videos, we play paperwork, we play everything. And the one thing that I want to do is block their faces real quick. And I want to give y'all what's called and it's confidential, but it's only confidential to those who don't want to know, right? They use it in a confidential setting because they manipulate this word right here. Because if it's something in this report, right, if it's something in Matthew Johnson's assessment report that they don't like, then they gonna hide it from the public. They gonna hide it from the public, and they ain't gonna allow nobody to know about it. They not gonna allow nobody in on it. They gonna be like, he's telling the truth. So when I talk about I'm not a sex offender, I passed Paslino Pino polygraphs. You could sit me in a chair. You could play anything on the TV that's related to sexual intercourse, children, animals, anything of that nature, and I'm not going to be aroused by it because this is insane of what y'all done to me, right? Y'all put me through things that normal person wouldn't even go through. So what we want to get down to, and I'm gonna actually get down to it right here, is the risk assessment involving what's called a static R99. If you're not aware of what a static R99 is, I think you should pay attention to what I'm about to say here. Sorry. Mm, 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 mm. So promoting prostitution by law is a registerable offense. This is what Douglas Hanson said. But it's not the typical type of case where the state has any concern. And I don't want to put words into Douglas Hanson's mouth, right? I don't want to do that. That's not something I like to do. But what I will uh, sorry guys. Sorry. Something is going wrong here. I like to be doing. I like to be zoning out when I get into this. But we talking, and this is where I tell you they hide the truth. I don't even meet the requirements. If you see where it says risk assessment, what where I'm concerned with, and this is, I can bring this up over and over again, but this is very important. And Mr. Johnson's offense does not meet the requirements to justify the use of a static R99 in a stable 2007 and assessing high risk, right? And they have hit this. I should be eligible for the relief packet because of this, but they don't want. They use, oh, this is confidential. We can't release it to you without Matthew's written consent. Well, how can I know to release it if they not telling me about it? You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, Stephanie Allen charged me a tremendous amount of times under a static R99 when she normally knew that I did not need the if you look at the score of 20, which is high, was indicated in referral papers, but no assessment of the factors that resulted in a high score was provided. No other risk assessment have been provided or completed at this time. It could be assumed that mismanagement of his mental health symptoms could increase risk to engage in illegal behavior. Now they saying that because I'm mad now. They know I'm mad. They know for sure I'm mad because they've done injust on my life. They charged me and they got me registering as a predatory sex offender when my paperwork says that the crime don't fit it. So who is mismanaging my paperwork? Who's doing that? Who do you think is doing it? It's Douglas Hanson, Gillian Fischer, and I'm not going to give up on telling the truth about these people because these people need to be held accountable. Gillian Fischer should not be able to leave the Marion County DA's office and then work for the Oregon legislator. Right? The Oregon State Legislator. You working for the Oregon State Legislator where they approve Senate bills like 233, which you violated, you and Doug Hanson. And I've reached out to Lou Frederick, but it's quite obvious that he's a lobbyist for the Attorney General who's poured into $1,000 to his campaign for him to be lead chair in a black caucus seat. And this is the thing, I'll take my notes. That's the thing. I'll take my notes. So y'all better be paying attention to what I'm saying. We haven't got deep into Douglas Hanson. We know Douglas Hanson left the Marion County DA's office and now he's claiming that he's working at the city of attorney's office for the city of Salem. Now, come on, man. When I took these notes about Gillian Jody Fischer, the state legislative policy and research office created by the Legislative Assembly and State Senate Bill 1569 in 2016 provides ideas. Okay. Professional and nonprofit issues, analysts, and committee management services for Legislative Assembly. So they put Gillian Fischer over there not to help out. They put her over there to block me from getting the truth out on their corruption. It's too late, I know. Why? Like I said, we're going to dive into Gillian Jody Fischer. All of them got an interview. As a matter of fact, we got them all caught up. We got the thing with Gillian Fischer is she was on my case. We just gonna play y'all the videos now. I get to the paperwork. I prove to y'all every time that I get on here that I'm not no damn sex offender. That's the worst thing you can call somebody. That irks me. That irks me to death. Like, can Douglas Hanson bring forth this child that I committed this crime on? And not only that, I want to see a victim impact letter from the parents. I wonder why the parents wasn't never allowed to know about any of the court proceedings that was going on in my case. Since you filed a Blakely enhancement notice, and people always say, "What is a Blakely enhancement notice? What is he talking about? A Blakely enhancement notice?" This is something that Douglas Hanson himself put on record. I'm just gonna give you the short end of it right here. We're gonna bring up Douglas Hanson paperwork right here. You'll see where we talking about a Blakely enhancement right here on Douglas Hanson's initial plea offer. This is your plea offer from the DA. You are not obligated to accept it, and your attorney will be in to discuss it. Right? So I got a problem with the stamp on this. For one, how am I stipulating and waiving preliminary hearing if I haven't yet talked to my attorney? It says it in his own stamp that my attorney will be in to discuss it. So that means already that he's in violation by taking away my rights. And the reason why he waived preliminary hearing and indictment is because he used the fact that they thought I had a parole officer back up in Multnomah County, which I really didn't. I believe he have a parole hold, and I checked him. I said, hold on, I don't have a parole officer. I'm off of parole. I'm done with all of that. Deal with me right now today. They put a $50,000 bail on me, but behind the scenes, Douglas Hanson slid this under my cell. He used a sheriff named Ryan Dunbar. I don't even think Ryan Dunbar knew Douglas Hanson's get down. He didn't. I even though Ryan Dunbar with the Marion County sheriffs kept lodging me in and doing this favor for Douglas Hanson, I've solely believed that Douglas Hanson was the co-conspirator that did this stuff. He was lying to everybody. He had to make sure. But what we want to go over is the Blakely enhancements. You see, the only one that I'm concerned with right here, and this is when my wife explained to Douglas Hanson that you taking my prior past and you putting it on Mr. Matthew Johnson. Now, the reason why we say that is because it's right here in his own paperwork. Blakely enhancement factors. Vulnerable victim, right? And then it says the ones that he underlined is the ones that he had to prove beyond reasonable doubt, right? It says prior sanction have not deferred. And I started to say to myself, what is a prior sanction? What is that? What does that mean? Right? I didn't know nothing about this. I was in a cell. I didn't have Wi-Fi. I didn't have an internet. I didn't have a computer. I didn't have a cell phone. I couldn't look up none of this. Right? So I'm like, prior sanction have not deferred. So my cellmate told me that means you previously been to prison on a case like this before. And I'm like, hell no, I've never been charged with a drug case or a pimping and pandering case in my life. So how can he get that? And then he said demonstrated disregard for law. Incarceration necessary for public safety. Right? This is what Douglas Hanson is saying, right? In the original charging instrument. And then he had to use Gillian Fischer to make sure that this all stick. But it's not going to stick because a person like me out there telling on them. We exposing y'all for what y'all did to me. We exposing y'all for everything. Y'all not doing it just to me. That's the thing. Y'all doing it to other people. And other people voice is silent from it. Other people didn't have a voice like me. They didn't have enough in them to want to fight. Like, I'm going to bring up this because it's so easy to show you that this is an email from Gail Ryder. It's from Gail Ryder, right? And you'll see, never mind, you can read that stuff too. But what I'm concerned with is how she was throwing all these different plea offers at me for Douglas Hanson. She wanted me to take the deal. I had stood no chance with these people. There was no way that I was going to get out of it. Now, this is a thing that I'm saying is that it's July 9th, I take my plea offer. Remind you, July 9th is when they forced me into taking this plea. But July 1st, I was a whole completely different person. Let's just read this. Based on what you saw yesterday in court, I'm sure you realize that we have a very difficult task to get a not guilty verdict on a promoting prostitution charge. A guilty verdict means you will go to prison for at least 40 months. I did get an affidavit from your wife. Oregon law does not allow an attorney to use an affidavit in trial. It is no use to me. In fact, because it contradicts some of your wife's earlier statements to the police, it could actually hurt your case if I try to use it, because it looks like she is now making up a new story to help you. Come on, this is coming from my public defender, right? I can save you from prison, but you must be willing to enter a no contest plea to delivery of an oxycodone charge. The DA will recommend probation if you do. You will be back with your wife and family, and the charge of promoting prostitution will be dismissed. That he did not do none of that. Douglas Hanson didn't do none of that. Gillian Fischer knew about it. And I'm going to show you I'm going to show you how I'm going to tie them into each other. Watch, right? Will be dismissed. There is no doubt that the text evidence together with the pills you had proved to a jury that I had. Hold on, I thought they were in my wife's purse. They were in my wife's purse, but she trying to make it seem like I had them. Yeah, they were my prescribed medication, but at the same time, if you going by a criminal episode and you charging constructively, Douglas Hanson is which you told my wife. That's why you're not a lawyer and I am. Well, Douglas Hanson, is quite obvious that you can look this stuff up. You can look up Oregon Revised Statute Codes. You can look up the penal codes and and being a constructive delivery means two or more people possess the item. So if two or more people possess that one item, right? This one item, which was my hydrocodone, all 50 pills were found inside of my wife's purse, but my wife was not charged with the same charge as me. And I'm glad that Douglas Hanson just charged me with the bogus crap, right? But now what I want to do is that you were trying to sell oxycodone to Nicholas Peterson. You will be found guilty of that charge. Why not? Listen to this. Why not plead no contest, get probation, and be done with this nightmare that has come into your life? The nightmare is Douglas Hanson trying to play boogeyman. He's trying to play God, the devil. He's playing the attorney. He's playing the judge. He's playing the public defender. He's playing the Marion County Sheriff's Office. He's playing the Oregon State Police. He's playing the Oregon Department of Justice. This man is playing so many hats that, man, he got his own people tricked up and lost, but he don't got me lost. You will be found guilty of that charge. Why not plead no contest, get probation, and be done with this nightmare that is coming to your life? There will be no restrictions on contact with your family, and you will be not labeled a sex offender. Now, why am I labeled a sex offender? Why do I gotta go and register? Why do I have to do these things? Why? Because Douglas Hanson, he reneged, right? I know you continuously be upset because you did not get a preliminary hearing. Pleading no contest to the drug charge does not mean that you cannot pursue a civil suit against Kerry Wyland if you choose to. Think this over. We can resolve this case and end it now. Gail Ryder. Of course, I wrote all on top of it because I was just going through. I couldn't fathom what they was doing to me. Well, what Douglas Hanson was doing to me, not what they were doing to me. Douglas Hanson, he know it too. He knows that I know the truth. You know what I'm saying? He tried to put me in jail for using the internet. He said that I made threatening comments. You can go all the way back to May 2nd, 2015, when I originally started all of this. And you will never see me, you will never ever see me making no threatening comments towards Douglas Hanson. The only thing I say to Douglas Hanson is, what are you going to do when the FBI come questioning you? How can you defend that this man, Matthew Johnson, have all this stuff on you, have all this evidence, have you guys tied up Stephanie Allen? Y'all had her so spooked that she was on a second chance. And I remind you that I know a lot about these people because of dreams. Dreams. I repeat that. Most people don't want to believe that. Well, that's on them. Most people don't want to believe it. That's on them. I can't stop them from what they think and believe. I know what God has done for me in my life. I know the amount of pressure that I've been through dealing with this. I wanted to first expose Stephanie Allen because she's the one that tells the truth to me. Stephanie Allen is a PO, right? She once worked at Coffee Creek, right, and the DOC as a court correctional counselor. But what happened to her was she was having, let's see, Stephanie Allen. What happens in this matter is Stephanie Allen was being caught having inmate staff relations, so they gave her a second chance and made her a probation officer here in Multnomah County. So I know a lot about Stephanie Allen. Stephanie Allen, please tell Joe Allen I said hello. I can't wait to tell him about your wicked ways and your flirtatious moves towards a married man. When you thought that I was a pimp and you thought I had a pimp mentality and you thought that I would flirt with you and you thought that it was okay to do the things that you were doing to me, you will be held accountable. I wouldn't be surprised if your husband finally say enough is enough. I'm taking the kids and I'm divorcing your ass. The house, the car, the keys, and the dog, and all that, I want it all. And I'll be applauding him for it because There's no way that you, as a Catholic teacher, you taught, you knew faith, you seen what these people was doing to me and my wife. You put so much stress on my wife during her pregnancy. One of my children suffers from cerebral palsy. That was you. How can you not have a conscience for that, Stephanie Allen? How can you not? How could you allow Douglas Hanson to do that? And what's so funny is Susan Tripp, the judge Susan Tripp, she recused herself off the case. She recused herself off of this situation because she knew what Douglas Hanson had done by manipulating her pre-existing condition. And I'm gonna write the disability board, the Oregon Judicial Disability Board. And Douglas Hanson, you just don't know when this report's gonna come in. I can talk about it, but the facts remain. I can file this when you wail out of office and hold Susan Tripp accountable. Do I hold Susan Tripp accountable by writing a victim impact letter on her? Yes, I do, because she knew damn well, she knew better. And when she forced Gail Ryder to stay on my case, when I tried to publicly on court audio transcripts tell her that Gail Ryder was not working for me, that she was actually working for the prosecutor, and she was actually letting the prosecutor write me through her emails through teleport.com. And we look all through this, and when they trace this all back, it's going to go to you, Doug. It's going to go to you. And Gillian Fischer, I hope like hell that you tell on Douglas Christopher Hanson. He ruined your career because he tried to prosecute me. He tried to illegally do it too. He prosecuted me, but he did it illegally. And that's why I went and found the most embarrassing picture that I could find of him. Because he like, oh shit, Matthew Johnson caught me. He caught me. You can play your trick when you start going after people's family and you start doing stuff like that, Douglas Hanson. That shows a weakness in your character. When you try to go after my wife and my children, you tap my wife's phone. You watch her. You reroute us. You destroy emails. You delete emails. You got these special spyware where we don't know that you. Well, think about this, Doug. We do know. You only, by you trying to watch us, all you doing is racking up the evidence for the FBI to say, yeah, it solely was you, Doug. It's solely. You might have got Portland FBI's attention, but I'm not buying to stay here. I can pick up, move, transfer my case to a different jurisdiction outside of Oregon and get proper help. And when the proper help come, when people see and Lou Frederick has been lied to. So I can't go bashing this man because the life that he's in, he deals with those people. Those people are liars, cheaters, and deceivers. And they heartbreakers. Stephanie Allen played a very important role. But to no obsession to Gillian Fischer, I want to go here real quick. I know where everything at, man.
I have to do what the court says as well. And like I tell him, I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's something that I have to do.
When you privately investigating, you go after the facts. I'm acting as my own sole private investigator to this case because the only way that you can prove that you telling the truth is that you got to catch these people up, right? And you got to do it in a way that they understand that you know what they did is wrong, so they get to running like cockroaches. They get to, doing what they feel is the best to what I'm saying, keep they self protected. Fuck what they did to my family, my wife, my children, the fake DHS reports, the inhumane that they put me through. And the first thing they gonna do is try to say, I'm sorry, Matthew. I'm sorry. Please forgive us. Da da da. Nah, it ain't that kind of party because Stephanie Allen knowingly knew what Douglas Hanson was doing was wrong. She said to me, not to me, she said to my wife.
My hands are tied with certain things. I have to do what the court says as well. And like I tell him, I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's something that I have to do.
You don't necessarily agree with it, but you forcing me and putting me into these places, holding me against my will. That's the thing. That's what I want y'all to understand about this small clip of Stephanie Allen, is that she didn't necessarily agree with it, but her hands was tied. The reason why her hands was tied is because I remind you, she was on a second chance. She had inmate staff relation. She given a second chance to be a PO. Da da da. And Douglas Hanson prey on stuff like that. He looks for the opportunity. He's an opportunist. He looks for that opportunity to say, do this favor for me. Da da da. And that's what happened here. It happened to Gillian Fischer too. We get deeper into this because Gillian Fischer claimed that she's only on my case during probation. She's not the prosecutor that supposedly prosecuted me in the original charges. When you think Gillian Fischer, I'm talking straight to you. I'm looking right at you, Gillian Fischer. Wouldn't you think that it was unethical for you to even be a DA on my probation? If you didn't. But then this is the thing where you cheat at, is because you say that you was the actual prosecutor on the original charges. See, the only prosecutor that my parole or probation officers should have been dealing with was Douglas Hanson. I was dealing with Douglas Hanson and Gillian Fischer and several other DAs throughout the probation violation hearings. And the reason why is because they like to trick up the courts. They like to trick the courts up. So let's get it.
It does look like there's emails in here saying that she was waiving prelim.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I'm not trying to take your curve. I was just, we set preliminary hearing dates, and so I presume that was a day when she wasn't here when we made the assignment, and with the option that she could waive prelim once she had a chance to talk to her clients.
Right.
She's prepared to do it. All right.
That's something she's prepared.
And Mr. Griffith, the discovery is at the office.
The police report?
The discovery, yeah.
Okay, wonderful, thank you.
And I'm so good with my dates and how this all played out. This is supposed to be my initial Raymond date. You just hear what Gillian Fischer said. She's bagging up this right here. She's bagging up this plea bargain from Douglas Hanson. She's bagging this plea bargain up by saying I waived the preliminary hearing, right? But Gail Ryder already know the truth. My public defender, Gail Ryder, knows that I did not waive that. She knows that. But if you listen to Gillian Fischer,
it does look like there's emails in here saying that she was waiving prelim.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I'm not trying to take your curve. I was just, we set preliminary hearing dates, and so I presume that was a day when she wasn't here when we made the assignment, and with the option that she could waive prelim once she had a chance to talk to her clients.
yeah, your attorney will be in to discuss that.
And Your Honor, and Mr. Griffith, the discovery is at the office.
How?
Police report.
The discovery, yeah.
Okay, wonderful, thank you.
My question to Julian Fischer is, what are you doing what are you doing in my arraignment date of May 29, 2014? Were you stepping in for Douglas Hanson, or did Douglas Hanson ask you to do this favor? Or is this the reason why you saying you have the authority to be the DA on my probation side? Because you and Douglas Hanson got a lot of explaining to do. It's contradicting to the emails. It's contradicting to the emails. You see, I know you continuously be upset because you did not get preliminary hearing. And this is straight from Gail Ryder herself. Gail Ryder is my public defender. She's the one that's representing me. So you mean to tell me that y'all sitting up here lying? Y'all lie a lot, and I'm going to expose both of y'all. So happy Veterans Day to you too. And you guys do not serve for y'all county. You do not serve for y'all state. Y'all are embarrassment. Y'all are. And this, the thing is, somebody's going to catch on to this.
Yes.
The case was assigned to Gillian Fischer.
You said what?
That case is assigned to Gillian Fischer.
So now the Marion County DA's office is saying that my case is originally signed to you, Julian Fischer, not you, Douglas Hanson. So Douglas Hanson, my question to you, sir, now is, how did you get on this case? How did you pick this case up? Where did you drop off the case? What made you give it to Julian Fischer? What is going on here? Y'all stories ain't together. They're not collaborating. Julian Fischer is going to say that you don't have the authority to do certain things. You going to be lying and saying that you do have the authority to do those things. You manipulating, and you're not sharing information with Judge Susan Tripp. So what made you put your friend Julian Fischer in front? Did y'all have a discussion? Did y'all think that I was some stupid idiot, like just because I'm a black man? And you said something to my wife. Don't ever say that. Don't ever say that again. I'm not a racist. Yes, you are, Doug. You beyond a racist. You a hateful man. You work for Lucifer. You have taken the law into your own hands. You have done the unthinkable. You have lied and connived and all that. And you know why the Marion County DA's receptionist, she told us everything. She basically, I don't even know the lady name. We call her Grandma Information, because Grandma always told the truth. You know how grandmas is. They love to tell the truth. They not breaking the law. Her job was to give the truth, the evidence. And what she said to my wife is that Julian Fischer was the original person on my case that was signed to my case. And the thing is, we have to ask Paige Clarkson, which is now the new elected DA for the Marion County DA's office. We have to ask her, did Douglas Hanson and Julian Fischer ever run this by you since you was their trial supervisor? You was the one that approved them to go to trial. I'm not going to bring up Paige Clarkson's picture because that's another episode. That just is another episode. But I can talk a little bit about Paige Clarkson, who's now the elected DA, who once was their supervisor. And she gotta be watching my live thinking Matthew is telling the truth. You know, she gotta be watching my live saying How do Matthew really know about my husband, Jason Van Meter, who works for the Oregon State Police, but really works for the Salem Police Department? How do Matthew Johnson know all this? Is Douglas Hanson really slipping up? How did Matthew capture all this information if the case has supposedly been about charging Matthew for crimes that he committed on his wife? Why did Matthew get off track and go investigating and capturing evidence of them committing corruption and colliding together? And William Barr, what's your number, William Barr? We need the Attorney General William Barr to get down here to investigate our attorney Ellen Rosenblum. And the one thing that I will say about what Arias Johnson was speaking about is that she don't care for the public. She should not be our Attorney General. She should not be our Attorney General because she do not protect the victim rights. Her own victims' rights task force, certain people on that task force have retired because of the information that I have on them. And I've been exposing it for a very long time. So let's go to the next video.
So Douglas Hanson was the only district attorney that prosecuted my case, and there's a different district attorney for my husband?
That is correct.
And what's the name of his district attorney again?
For who?
My husband.
Okay, you can call us. There's no, anyway, you know what? There's no need for you to be calling us. You can contact the court if.
Look, Grandma Information she got fed up with us calling her, but we had to do due diligence. We had to keep calling. There was times that me and my wife would argue because I was like, no, you got to call. You got to keep on applying pressure. And she kept on saying, they just playing games with us. They just playing games with us. So you hear it in my initial arraignment date, May 29, 2014, there was nowhere near shape or form Douglas Hanson. It was all Gillian Fischer. She was the one that said there was some type of emails, right? It looks like there's emails. So what we want to do is show you how you get to those emails that Gillian Fischer is talking about right here, right? Let's break her video down again. We want to play her video.
It does look like there's emails in here saying that she was waiving prelim.
Okay, and that's all we want to know is that where's those emails at, Carrie Weiland? I want to see where Carrie Weiland emails. Produce these emails. So in order for me to get that information, which my public defender was withholding from me, and that's what you call a discovery, give me everything, every communication between the public defender and the DA, right? That's all mine, because I will be able to point out any technicality, and it was up to Carrie Weiland to fight those technicalities for me, and she didn't. So what we do is we go down to the emails. There's some very important emails in here that you're going to see real soon. And as you see, this is always my evidence because I write on stuff. They taking my own evidence and they using it against me. But I was forced out of jail, by the way. But what we want to do is look up the emails. Again, you will see that Gillian Fischer, she never ever was on my case. Douglas Hanson was. Period, point blank. Through all of this. Through it all. I wanted them to produce the emails. Did they produce those emails or not? What emails do Douglas Hanson get of me waiving my preliminary hearing? So these are the made up emails right here. So and I don't want to lie about nothing, and I want to put it out there because these are 5/21/2014. right? 5/21/2014. This is when Carrie Weiland claimed that she made initial contact with me. This lady is a lie. This lady put that date on there. That don't mean it happened. PCT, that means jail. Made a phone call to jail, discussed waiving preliminary hearing, sent the email, right? Now let's break down this. Every email that I've ever seen, let's give you an example of an email. This is an actual legitimate email. And the reason why I say that is because we just gonna get down to it. All we want to see is this. That letterhead on any email, there has to have a letterhead on where this email came from. Where did this come from? Sent the email to DA. Client says he had prescription for oxycodone. The text messages is misleading. What we concerned with her notes ain't even. Carrie Weiland, you're gonna have to account for this. I'm telling you right now. So what we want to do is look at the emails. Look at this. There's no letterhead. This is not a real email. This is paper set on top of some more paper and scanned into a system from Carrie Weiland. From what email address? Carrie, when the feds run this and they say, okay, you sent this email, Carrie Weiland, but what email was you using? Was you using Gmail? Was you using Yahoo? Was you using this don't make sense. Carrie Weiland at Public Defenders of Marion County.org. Subject Matthew Johnson, 14 and this is the DA files number, right? May 21st, 2014 at 2:42. I'm in custody. This lady do not reach out to me. She said to Douglas Hanson. Now let's just go to an email. I need to go to an email real quick. I need to bring an example of an email and show you that this is a fake email. Show you that this is a fake email, right? Because I'm going to use mine for an example. So if I go to compose, right? I go to compose. Is this where they getting it at too? Because what I'm trying to break down is this part right here. To Douglas Hanson, and then it says subject. You see how it's not even in order? It's supposed to say to Douglas Hanson, and then the subject is supposed to be under it. Now let's just write an email to myself, right? To Matthew. Subject. What we gonna say the subject is? We're gonna say the subject is Douglas Hanson. Oops. Versus Gillian Fischer. And then we're going to say what we should say is hi or something. No. and then we just gonna send this, right? What we want to do is get the letterhead. You see how it sent to myself? So now when I open this up, it ain't gonna look like Douglas Hanson and Kerry Weiland's emails that you see here. It's not gonna look like this. Where's this line coming from? Where's that line? You want me to tell you? Because the scanner is not gonna lie. The scanner is telling you that somebody is altering paperwork. Somebody placed some paperwork on top of something and they put it in there. And I can't believe the Oregon State Bar accepted this from Douglas Hanson. Evil ways. So what we do is look at my example. I go into here and I look at the example. Now, if I was to go up to print, right? Print it off. Print this off. It's going to show you the example. We're not going to print it. You see that example right there? You see it's going to have a letterhead on it. It's going to have the letterhead. It's going to have the example. It's going to read. There ain't going to have a line. You know what I'm saying? That line there, when I print this out, it's not this man, Douglas Hanson's. Look, just compare it. Just compare it. The information, the line, there is a line there, but what I'm saying is that the information and the spacing, like how Gmail emails or any email operates, is that it goes through a system where it won't give you this. It's gonna be solid. It's not gonna. If it's an option, my client would like to get an offer, right? If it's an option, my client would like to waive preliminary and get an offer and discovery. How? If you look at this, Kerry Weiland never talked to me. That's what I'm saying. If it's an option, my client would like to waive preliminary. Douglas Hanson made these emails up himself. He made these emails up. Douglas Hanson did. He made these emails up himself. I'm telling you. And he thought I wasn't going to catch him doing it. So when I print this, I will print it off just to show you how it looks. But that'd be a waste of my ink, right? So you will see that it got a time and a date that it was supposed to be on there. They got it all conjunctured into one. They don't even, you see that they got the time. The time is supposed, like, everything is off with what this man did to me. Every single little thing. So we're going to cancel that and give you a better view of it. It'll say undercover corruption to Matthew. It just, Douglas Hanson, you call. So let's look at how I bust Douglas Hanson up real quick. How I bust him up with his response right here. It's the same. It's the same. It's Douglas Hanson is doing this. He's the one that's stacking paperwork on top of paperwork. Now he changed the date to make it not look so suspicious, but it's still the same. It's still the same. Like nothing has changed, but this part, the same line. No computer ain't gonna print the same line. Like, come on. I just faxed over a plea offer, the charging instrument, the defendant's criminal history, and a probable cause statement. I do not have full discovery report yet, but I will get those to you as soon as I receive them. I'm counseling grand jury, but But Willow Snowfarrell told my wife that Douglas Hanson took 2 cops to a grand jury. I'm canceling grand jury as it appears you and your client. That's a lie. Are waiving preliminary hearing. Let me know. Do I have to show you time and time again that I did not waive my preliminary hearing? I didn't waive it. Y'all know that. I don't got to keep on blapping y'all with that evidence because y'all already know that I didn't waive my preliminary hearing. So let's just get into
Get a clear understanding because
Oh, I totally understand. Yeah.
get a clear understanding.
I had my initial offer when he was first lawyer based on his history because he has a very bad criminal history.
Now dealing with sex crimes.
I offered him 40 months total. I had my initial offer when he was first lawyer based on his history because he has a very bad criminal history.
Now dealing with sex crimes.
I offered him 40 months total.
offer me 40 months total, which goes along with him controlling my emails. Just listen to this. Based on what you heard yesterday in court, I'm sure, based on what you heard in court, based on what you saw yesterday in court, I'm sure you now realize that you have a very difficult task to get a not guilty verdict on the promoting prostitution charge. This all is contradicting because he's claiming to drop the promoting prostitution charge, but in the very first paragraph, he say it's very hard, difficult task to get a not guilty verdict on the promoting prostitution charge. A guilty verdict means you will go to prison for at least 40 months. Now listen to what Douglas Hanson is telling my wife.
I had my initial offer when he was first lawyer based on his history because he has a very bad criminal history.
Now dealing with sex crimes.
I offered him 40 months total.
Now Douglas Hanson claiming that was his very first offer, was this 40 months. Let's go to his very first offer. I'm going to bring this window over here so I won't have to keep doing that. Let's go to his very first offer, and you will see that I got it down here, right? You will see in his very first offer, it was 40 months like he said. But check what he's doing to me. Check this man Douglas Hanson out. Dang. Check him out real quick. First plea, the first offer. This is, he want 40 months, right? 36 months post prison. 0936. I'm like, what's 0936? That means no good time, no work time, no chance for alternative programming. You got to do day for day. This is a Measure 11 plea offer that Douglas Hanson is offering me, right? $200 fines and fees, right? This is, then he offered the same thing on a promoting prostitution. 8B, 40 months, 20 months, no good time, work time, 1,200 be taken, 20 months to run consecutive. So 20 months to run consecutive with the 40 months. 4 and 2 was 6. So that's 60 months day for day. 60 months day for day. So about him saying he offered in the first initial plea, and you got to look at when this was stamped, May 22nd, 2014. He stamped this and he sent it over when he basically was lying about the emails. All this is coming from Douglas Hanson. And Gillian Fischer is going to bag his claims up through the probation. But she's also going to tell on him, right? So we know for a fact that I did not stipulate, because he said must stipulate or DA will seek maximum departure sentencing time to 140 months, right? This is crazy. This is crazy. Listen to what Douglas Hanson again is telling my wife.
I had my initial offer when he was first lawyer,
Which is Kerry Weiland.
because he has a very bad criminal history.
So you know he talking about this.
Crimes.
I offered him 40 months total.
He lying. He lying to my wife. Flat out, just flat blank period. He's lying. He's been a liar. That's all Douglas Hanson do is lie. His whole motive is to get people to believe him and not the facts. The facts is that your initial plea offer states that you offered me a total of 60 months. Not no 40 months. You ain't telling my wife everything, Doug. You're not telling her everything. But we're going to hold you and Gillian Fischer accountable. Believe me, Doug. Believe me when I tell you this. That you are going to be held accountable for your unethical misconduct. And Gillian Fischer is going to be the one that tell on you. Because I'm going to make sure she be held accountable right along with you.
That's what I'm telling you, is if he goes to do just an evaluation, I can't determine what his parole officer might have done to him when he got out last time. That's not up to me.
But that's because of the parole board. That's the
It's
parole
up to me
board.
now and the judge and whether we can fashion a probation that meets his criteria.
How is it up to you and the judge on whether you guys can fathom a probation that meets the criteria, and you charging me outside of what the legislative bill approved? You made this case up and you think that it's okay. You think that it's okay. Douglas Hanson is now throwing Susan Tripp in there, a judge that recused herself off of my case. And she's the honorable judge, so she don't necessarily have to tell you that she recused herself off. She could just bump the case down to somebody else, some other judge. Like, I don't have time to deal with that. But the fact of the matter is that the paperwork says that all probation violation hearings was to go in front of Susan Tripp, not Vance D-Day, not Aubrey Boyles, not Janet, not all the other Daniel Warren, not none of them, not none of them. It was supposed to solely go to Susan Tripp.
The motion to show cause was filed after I got notice of the sanction.
So you hear Gillian Fischer stepping into this, and she's saying the notice got filed after she received word. But then when I called my attorney Ron Channing-Newitch about Douglas Hanson corruption, listen to what I asked my public defender at the time, Ron Channing-Newitch. So in fact, that report got initially sent to Douglas Hanson, who reassigned it to Gillian Fischer. Thank you. So I was on to Douglas Hanson, and I've been on to him for 6 long years. He need to go ahead and resign. Oregon State Bar need to take his license to practice law for life.
Get a clear understanding because
Oh, I totally understand. Yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah, it is.
It is, because y'all made it confusing.
And part of the issue is I have been in touch with the PO so that he and I have an open line of communication because I filed the motion to show cause based on the short report that I got from him.
Based on the short report. And it's a lie. How do you file a motion of show cause on me when the Paul Lively character gave me 3 days in jail and I served those 3 days in jail? After I served those 3 days in jail, you could not have brought me back to jail again because you wanted to file a notice. You went against what P.O. Paul Lively gave me a sanction for. And that's why Paul was like, this is the most bizarre case. And when I get on Paul Lively, man.
I don't know, are the two of you allowed to contact the PO?
Yes, it's part of his case.
But Gillian Fischer is claiming that she prosecuted the case. That's what I'm saying. Who's doing this, Doug or Gillian Fischer?
Well,
here's the thing. I don't know what Paul has decided about contact within your probation. Doug Hanson did not
Oops.
you authorize probation or not authorize it. If it wasn't a condition of probation, then it wasn't a condition of probation. But Paul Lively is the one that gets to decide contact. So unless you have permission from Paul Lively to have contact.
But it was from the court said that we could be together.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure that you're not telling me the reason you're in contact is because Doug Hanson said so, because that's not something that I can confirm, and he is not somebody that would have been able to allow contact. The court or the probation officer are allowed to do that. So if you have permission from the court, then...
And this is proving that she didn't prosecute
you have an order
me.
allowing contact.
Proving it.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
She sound
No, because
confused.
what I'm saying is
Julian Fischer
how-
sound confused.
How did Douglas Hanson make, it's just so confusing, because
She know what she was doing was wrong. But if Douglas Hanson didn't have the authority to do this, what is Douglas Hanson saying this?
I've already offered him the chance to plead to both of the counts, to do probation, not go to prison for a very long time. And I told his lawyer that he can have immediate contact with you, immediate contact with your kids.
how when I'm a victim? If I'm a victim, how are you supposed to have contact with me? Look, this is what I'm saying. You're the one that's getting yourself caught up because Demetrius can't have no type of contact with me if I'm a victim. And he compelled and prostituted me and took me over state line and have domestic violence. Matthew and I don't have any domestic violence on us. We don't argue and
That's
fight.
one of the reasons why I said I was fine with him having immediate contact.
But what about sex offender? He's got kids. How can he be around his kids if you're trying to make him do sex offender standards?
Well, if you listen to me, I said that he would have immediate contact with the kids. He is not, based on the sex crime that this is, which is promoting you, I have no reason to believe that he's a danger to children. So that's why I was fine with him having contact with the kids.
But he's still got to be a sex offender?
Lawyer that he wouldn't necessarily have to do, quote, sex offender treatment.
This man Douglas Hanson just think he almighty good man. He think he's the almighty good man. And to bag that up, you'll see me going over here to where is it at? My music here. I want to get into my studio, my little music. Y'all can't see it, of course, because
State wishes to call the case.
Yes, we do.
This is State versus Matthew Mayfield Johnson Jr., 14C 42686. Defense counsel Gail Ryder is present with the defendant. Who is
Don't be scared, Doug.
Hanson for the state. Your Honor, this is the time and date we had set up for a change of plea in this matter.
Alright, so what I want to do is just get to the end real quick. I think it's at, I always get it at, like,
Sex offender treatment. About the sex offender treatment, etc. He has to have an evaluation according to the conditions. But if that comes back that he doesn't need any sex offender treatment, then he doesn't have to do sex offender treatment. Promoting prostitution by law is a registrable offense, so he does have to register. I provided that to Ms. Ryder, and he'll have to sign that today. But it's not the typical sex abuse type conviction that the state has concerns of him having any kind of a sexual abuse to children or anything of that nature. So we understand that hopefully this will be a limited type of probation where he can actually comply and complete it and be done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Offense, so he does have to register. I provided that to Ms. Ryder, and he'll have to sign that today. But it's not the typical sex abuse type conviction that the state has concerns of him having any kind of a sexual abuse to children or anything of that nature. So we understand that hopefully this will be a limited type of probation where he can actually comply and complete it and be done.
you see how Douglas Hanson is just working all these angles? He's working the judge. He's worked Julian Fischer. actually having flings with her. You know, that's between them two, though. You know, no woman would risk her whole entire career for a man that she know is doing wrong. She know is doing wrong, but for some reason, Julian Fischer did that favor to him.
To me, it's kind of contradicting.
What is your question about Paul Lively in your apartment?
Well, one thing
Paul Lively in the apartment. Paul Lively in the apartment, if I can remember right, there's an eviction right here. There's an eviction that Paul... This didn't come from Paul Lively. It came from Douglas Hanson pretending to be Paul Lively. And it had us all shook up. And when we checked Julian Fischer about it, she didn't know what was going on. But we was explaining the paperwork. My wife was explaining the paperwork.
Yeah, to me it's kind of contradicting.
So it says it right here. You are in violation of your rental section 2. No one else may occupy the dwelling residence, and occupying that are not listed on a rental agreement must not stay dwelling for more than 7 consecutive days. How can they prove that? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. How can they prove that a person is staying past 7 days if you don't see a person every day? You don't see a person coming in and out of a house. So I can tell you that this person has been staying at the house for over 7 days. Unless Douglas Hanson right here hires a private investigator to see and watch when I'm coming in, entering my wife's house. Right? So it says it's been brought to our attention once again that you have an unauthorized person living in your home. This comes straight from the public record with the parole officer. See? Boom. So they evicted notice for cause of termination. It was a notice, but my wife was like, they trying to split us up, and I need you here to basically babysit my son while she go to work to keep up with paying the rent. And Douglas Hanson destroyed all that. My wife fell off because I wasn't going to go back and risk getting her evicted, right? So I just basically left, like, period, point blank. And you hear my wife tell Douglas Hanson, you knew where I was this whole time. You used the office to call me to the office to subpoena me. So listen to how Julian Fischer tried to cover up for this.
What is your question about Paul Lively in your apartment?
Well, one thing
Have you talked to Paul about it?
yes, I have, and actually I talked to his supervisor about the situation.
Okay.
And
He knows that there's a problem with your apartment.
yes, but this is the thing I have. This is the issue that I have. You know, he's been staying here for the last 6 months, you know, ever since the plea was that he took the no contest plea. So why didn't they make sure, according to the sex offender rules and ORS codes, that the probation officer has to make sure that wherever he resides, that it's okay by the management
Right.
of their complex of
Right.
apartments. Because, you know, I live within less than 3 miles of a school, Hall Elementary, and, you know, he's come here, done home visit, allowed him to stay here, and then all of a sudden, because whatever reason, he decides to go to my manager and gets me terminated and pretty much choose, well, my husband either leaves or we all get evicted. And to me, that's really wrong because he should have made sure that my husband could stay here before he even did his probation. And that's the problem that I have because now my family is broken up because Paul Lively told my manager whatever. And I'm trying to figure out what public report did he show my manager that got me terminated or pretty much my husband kicked out. So now my family's broken because of it.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, now you want to say I'm so
I
sorry.
can't imagine how much of a stress that it's been.
Because now, how am I supposed to go to work when I have a 3-year-old and a 15-year-old that goes to school? Who is going to watch my 3-year-old when my husband did? And what Paul Lively did was wrong because he disrupted my family.
Like she was so sad. That was Gillian Fischer being a woman for the first time to me. Is that when my wife told her and expressed this to her, and like I said, there's so much evidence to prove that what we were saying is true because we got the DHS report that backs up our claims. We got that report. We got talking to Gillian Fischer, and she just like still wanted to help Douglas Hanson.
I want to make sure that we are addressing the different issues fairly, okay? Because
How? You're not fair.
if his actions he did, and the reason that he can't live within certain areas is because of his actions of committing the crime. Okay, so let's just make sure that
That's a lie.
family, I understand that you feel like Paul Lively should have been more proactive in making sure that the apartment you take to live in was okay for your husband.
Don't try to cover Julian.
Due diligence is also a requirement for you guys because you know that your husband is now a sex offender, okay?
No, I'm charged with a sex offense
You also have a
crime.
responsibility in making sure that in choosing to maintain your family as a whole the way that it is, I totally understand that and I understand that you are doing your best to keep your family together and I'm sorry that it's been hardship, but at the same time, your husband also has an obligation to make sure that he's living somewhere he's allowed because that's a condition of probation.
But the courts and his public defender Gail Ryder wrote down the address before he even was registered as a sex offender. So that's what I'm saying. They forced him to write the address here because they already knew my address.
Right.
Okay, but he can change his address.
Where is he gonna go? Where is he gonna go? Paul Lively hasn't given him housing.
I'm not going to continue to talk to you if you can't keep yourself calm, okay? I am not trying to disagree with you, okay? I'm trying to answer your question. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
I understand that you're frustrated. I understand that you feel like everybody is put you in a position.
Well, people have kind of put me in this position.
Julian Fischer, what are you going to do when we question, when it's all come back?
The reason that you were having these problems, okay, because of the crime that you were convicted of.
He wasn't convicted. He took a no contest
I'm not going to allow
plea.
you to continue to blame everybody else.
But this, okay.
I will help you to communicate with the people that you think can make this easier on you.
But this is the thing. If I was a victim to this case, and you're the DA, or Douglas Hanson was the DA, my voice was never really heard. I was shut down. I didn't get talked to until a week before he even went to trial. That's totally violating my victim's right. So yes, I am very upset.
Right.
Okay. So, is there something that I can do to help you now?
No, not now. You've already answered everything that I need to answer.
Okay, and I want you to know that the reason I agreed to dismiss the motion to show cause is because it seemed to me that it would be more disruptive to your husband's ability to get the care that he needs than it would be helpful to the case, okay?
Okay.
And if in the future you have concerns about his treatment, or if you're concerned about how a violation is being handled, I want you to feel like you can call me, okay?
Okay, I will.
And I want you to feel like you have a voice. And I know that you are actively participating in your husband's probation and trying to keep your family together and maintain the stability that you have control over.
Well, yes,
I want to help you do that.
I'm
But
also.
you also need to know your husband has a very significant role in making sure his probation is successful and that he has no violations. And there's nothing you can do to fix it if he doesn't comply with the conditions and things like that to do. You cannot be the person responsible for that. And I know you feel responsible because right now you feel like you're the one that's keeping your family together. But I will tell you that if you call me and ask me this, if you're frustrated because something's not getting fixed for your husband, I just want you to know that's going to be my responsibility. You can, I know that you would like to be able to fix it for him. You're not going to be able to. He's got to do some of this on his own.
But another thing too, my concern is this: that he was doing just fine. He was staying at my house until I got that termination from the office. So when I was the one
I don't know the facts behind that. I know that you're telling me you think Paul Lively was your manager.
that's what I'm saying. I can't go off of black and white paperwork, which came from straight from the
I
manager.
don't know what paperwork you're talking about. I don't have it in front of me. I don't know what the facts are behind it.
Right, and I try to show people, nobody wants to see it. So, it would be a little bit frustrating when you talk to the supervisor and you try to show him and he doesn't even want to meet me. That can get a bit frustrating. I'm just trying to make sure that my husband has somewhere safe to stay. So as we all know, that sometimes he can go off the end. That's just my biggest concern right now.
And what I want to emphasize to you, right, is that he also needs to be concerned about that. You should not be having to figure this out for him. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear yourself saying you're just trying to make sure that he has a place to stay?
Well, he does. He has the concern, but he might not express it in the way I do.
Well, I know, and you feel like the burden is on you because you feel like you're responsible in a relationship. I just want you to make sure you are paying attention to how your responsibility is making you feel like you have to fix it. Okay?
But a lot of it is my fault to an extent, because if I wasn't forced into lifestyle prostitution by Demetrius Jean Bachelor, I wouldn't have put myself in this situation, and my husband would have tried to help me out. That's what I'm saying. Nobody really knows the full
You
story.
forced your husband. Okay?
I know he came down to stop me from doing something. Right, I'm an adult and I make my own decisions. I'm not a child. So it's wrong for my husband to try to stop me from doing something wrong. So he's now prosecuting.
I'm not gonna argue the underlying facts of the case.
Well, I'm the victim, and I should have a voice in this. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm discussing the case with you right now, aren't I? We are having a conversation about it. And I'm telling you to call me when there are issues, and I've asked you if there's anything I can do to help you.
Yes,
Can we agree on that?
yes. My only, like I said,
And you have continued to get upset and talk about everything that everybody has been doing and not listen to you, but I'm still on the phone.
But the case is already over. You wasn't prosecuting from the jump.
And I'm telling you about the parts that I am in control of right now, aren't I? But the probation
Yeah,
violation, I'm
because
telling you that I went through the motion to show cause, okay, so that I don't interrupt Johnson's treatment. So I understand that you want to be frustrated, and that you don't want to hear that I'm doing what I can at this point. But I'm not going to continue to discuss elements of the case that I don't have control over. I'm not going to argue the underlying facts with you.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
If you want to talk about what we can do to move forward, that's best for you and for your family, then we can talk about that. But otherwise, I don't think that I can help you if your frustration is about what has already happened.
Well, I told you my biggest frustration is that my husband can't be with his family.
Right? And that is not because I am saying no, that is not because you are saying no. There are rules that say if you're a sex offender, there's certain places you can't live, and he knows those rules.
Right, so that's my point. So if there's rules and the probation officer is sworn in to understand these rules, he did not do his job.
Your husband is the one that has the obligation to know the conditions of his probation. His probation officer is not a daycare provider. He's not a teacher. He's a probation supervisor. The conditions of your husband's probation, I am certain, have been told to him.
To not be on the internet.
Know that the apartment was within a distance of the school. That is not his obligation to know. I know you feel like he should have told you that he's not allowed to live there, but in the end, it is your husband's obligation to live in places that he's allowed to live.
But
Report those addresses to his probation officer.
we did report it to him, and he didn't. Paul Lively didn't do anything about it, but just don't be on the internet. That's all the condition, special condition was, is don't be on the internet. And now he can't be here. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay, I don't know why you're saying that this happened the way it happened. Okay, I don't understand what the process was. When I got to this point, I can't tell you why you're being evicted.
I don't even understand why I'm even a victim. How can I be a victim to my own husband? That's the part I don't understand.
I have to hang up now because I have an appointment that I'm late for, and I don't feel like I'm going to be able to help you.
Okay, well, you have a good
You
day.
just want to tell me what you're upset about, and I want you to understand that I hear you, I understand that it's frustrating.
No, you don't understand.
Okay, well.
But you have a good day.
Okay, bye.
Well, you still didn't answer my question. What was the real reason why you really subpoenaed me? Because you knew I was married.
Right, and the marital principle. You're not a lawyer. I am.
You're not a lawyer, you're a district
I know my
attorney.
job. I know how to do it. And because you're considered a victim by the state, by me, that you don't have the marital privilege. So we're going to get nowhere then. We're going to continue that. Anything else you'd like to talk about?
Well, you still didn't answer my question. What was the real reason why you really subpoenaed me? Because you knew I was married.
Right, and the marital principle. You're not a lawyer. I am.
You're not a lawyer, you're a district
I know my
attorney.
job. I know how to do it. And because you're considered a victim by the state, by me, that you don't have the marital privilege. They release a lot of people. I wish they didn't. I don't think your husband should be out of custody right now, frankly. They release a lot of people. I wish they didn't. I don't think your husband should be out of custody right now, frankly. They release a lot of people. I wish they didn't. I don't think your husband should be out of custody right now, frankly.
So are you the new DA that's handling his case now because he's going through the probation stuff? Because it was originally Douglas Hanson that was the district attorney.
Yeah, Doug is no longer with our office. He doesn't work here anymore. So I am the new, I took on this case of his, yeah. I am the newest NDA.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to get it clear. I was just trying to get a clear understanding because, you know.
Oh, I totally understand. Yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah, it is.
Lige, her and Douglas Hanson always been working this case together. This is what you call real undercover work. Undercover corruption supply you with the cold-hearted facts, and what we doing is posting them.
So,
Understanding.
well, you still didn't answer my question. What was the real reason why you really subpoenaed me? Because you knew I was married.
Right, and the marital principle. You're not a lawyer. I am.
You're not a lawyer, you're a district
I know my
attorney.
job. I know how to do it. And because you're considered a victim by the state, by me, that you don't have the marital privilege.
My name is Matthew Mayfield. Because he sure hasn't been following them. Where's my evaluation? Where?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know what Paul decided about contact with vendor information. Doug Hanson did not have the authority to authorize information or not authorize it. If it wasn't a condition of probation, then it wasn't a condition of probation. But Paul Lively is the one that gets to decide contact. So unless you have permission from Paul Lively to have contact.
But it was from the court said that we could be together.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure that you're not telling me the reason you're in contact is because Doug Hanson said so. Because that's not something that I can confirm, and he is not somebody that would have been able to allow
No, because what I'm saying is that how did Douglas Hanson make, it's just so confusing, because
Thank you guys for watching. It's been an honor. Please share this and make sure we get the proper help. Help put a stop to the corruption. If your vote matter, your voice should matter. God bless.